Okay, I wanted to touch base on this push button assembly for this Silvertone 6421 radio. I had went through a short little descriptive portion in a prior video on a Silvertone push button, how it operated. Um, this this particular model has this style of a push button. It has a screw adjustments, an adjustment screw. It doesn't really adjust anything. All it does is it pinches this little piece of steel here against this half moon or half round plate that engages this bar here, this channel, and orients it to whatever angle that plate, that channel is. And you tighten it with the adjustment screw, and this goes in there like that. This is how the assembly comes apart so that you can clean it. And you thread that in until you hit that portion there, till you get to that portion. This piece here goes on there like that, and then this here, see if I can get this in frame. This here you thread back up until you get it in there like this, and this little angle piece right there is what this rounded edge of the bolt pushes against, and it pinches this little rotating plate here. And so what you do is you loosen it until you get the little disc here loose. Usually about a good turn or a turn and a half would be enough, and this would go in there like that, of course, with the spring on it, and that thing would push there. That is completely closed. And then what you would do is you would snug this back up so that it pinches this little adjustment plate here, and you don't need to torque it down because then you just warp everything, and you do that for each of the other ones. And then this here has a front plate on it that goes here, which is right there. You would slip this through. You would slip this through the front, right there, and then this, and you would do that for all of these, and you would put it back on the front of that thing, and there's two screws, one on each end here, that bolts it back onto the framework of the tuner. So I just wanted to touch base with everybody about how you went about disassembling these things and getting clean, because this is all just regular steel, and it will rust up. And of course you can see here I had this in soaking in solution all night, and it cleaned up pretty well. I'm still cleaning them. I've got these 5 here to go, and whenever I get them done, I'll show you the next step. So stand by. Okay, we got all the push button rods back in their front faceplate. The springs are loaded, and we're going to slide it back into the tuner section. Let's see if we can do this without too much grief. I got that much of it done. Now let's see if I can manage getting these things aligned so that the pins go in to the holes in the back. Now let's see. It's kind of hard to see them. Well, you get the gist. I'll come back whenever I get them put back in and show you. And there we are. Got the faceplate all back in. Each one of these. Now they just barely stick through there. There's not much. I thought there was probably going to be a little bit more sticking through than that in its natural state, but I guess not. So that one's adjusted all the way there. Yeah, we'll go, and that will be a full mesh. Now we're feeling a little bit of pressure there, so now we'll move it down a little ways and we'll go to the next one. Later I'll set these up for actual stations, but right now I just want to take and get them all independent of each other. Hope that's in frame. Okay, there's that one, and we'll go way down here for the other one. There we go. Suck me blue. Okay. Now, all we're going to do is we're going to do a quick lube of all the moving parts in here and make sure that they're all slickified up, and we're going to put it back on the chassis. So stand by. All right, and here we are back on the chassis, all connected. We've got the grid cap to the K8, to the tuner redressed, and all of these are functional. Okay, so now what we got to do is get the speaker remounted and get the face panel back on. The dial plate is ready to go. So stand by and we'll move into that. Alright, we got the dial face on. The indicator is hooked in and preset. This one here is a squeaker. On the original dial string diagram, similar to this in nature, but this one here kind of shows a little twist in the thing. Now the spring was located up here on the indicator. This is looking this is looking at it from the back side of the radio. Um, and I've adapted it now to here at this end of the run. There is the indicator, and this just goes right straight on through, comes down and wraps around counterclockwise underneath this small roller, and it comes up here and dead ends into the spring, which clips onto the end there. Now it comes from the other wheel and back down through this wheel, and it goes down, and it goes 3 turns around the pin, the dial, the tuning pin, and then comes up and comes clockwise around the top of the large wheel and goes down and dies. It can die either to here, that notch area, or it can go through the hole and down into here. I'm not sure what the purpose of this was. I'm thinking that if you tie it to the end of this little clip right here offers a little flex to it, as well as the spring to take up any end of run torque that you may be putting on it and the spring will just absorb it, as well as this little tang right here. But you could do it either way, whichever is the simplest. That to me was a hell of a lot easier to restring than that. Because that, in that diagram, you have to deal with 2 strings and tie them together at the dial indicator. Well, this one here, all you have is to just start your string at the bottom here, come up through that hole, go around the large wheel, back down to the tuning pin, and go underneath and bring it around for 3 loops, up around there, down around here, around there, and to the spring. Much simpler. So let me much simpler. I'm not sure what the purpose of that is. I'm sure there's some reasoning behind it, but I haven't figured it out. So anyway, that's that to that point. Now we're going to get the dial lamp rewired and back in, and get the grid wire to the AF tube and get it anchored back in like it was. So stand by. Alright then, we've got the lamp wired back in, new wiring from at least here, the rest way in, and we got the clamps down on this grid cap wire that comes off the AF tube. I believe that goes to the volume control, if I'm not mistaken, but I probably am mistaken. Get this all heat shrinked here. New grid cap wire there from this IF. And looks like everything but the speaker is back on the chassis. We're going to do that next. I've been waiting for it to get a little cured up because I did give it a coat of semi-gloss on its framework so that it would help alleviate some of the oxidation buildup on it. And then we're going to get a power cord on it and a lamp in it, back in it, and we're going to give it a check out. So stand by for that. That'll probably be in the next publication.